Hello YouTube, my name is Nero, and today we have some Call of Duty World at War custom zombies. I figure it's October, it's the month that Halloween falls under, so for this Dear Nero, we're going to have some zombies footage. And since we actually missed last week's episode of Dear Nero, I'm going to have 2 episodes of Dear Nero this week. This first one here is going to be custom zombies footage, and the next one is going to be featuring footage from the Star Wars Battlefront beta, because I know you guys are very interested in that game and how it's going so far. So let's hop in here with the questions. I have a ton of questions here to go through for this week because we missed last week, so there's like 2 weeks worth of questions to go through for these episodes of Dear Nero, and hopefully you guys will sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. The first question is going to come from a guy that goes by the name of Green Jose in Fort Worth, Texas. He is going to write, Dear Nero, with Black Ops 3 on the horizon, what types of videos and series will you do during the Black Ops 3 lifespan? And could there be videos on delay because of Black Ops 3's release day and you'll be busy actually playing the game? And finally, what is your favorite ice cream flavor? Mine is butter pecan. Keep up the great work and have a great day/night. Green Jose from Fort Worth, Texas. So there's 3 questions in one here. So with Black Ops 3 on the horizon, what types of videos do I plan on making during that game's lifespan? Well, of course, we're going to do some stuff similar to what we did here in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, where I'm going to be covering news as it comes out. In terms of different series, I want to do weapon guides. I want to do weapon series where I give you guys credit class guides, similar to what we did here in Advanced Warfare, but expand upon that a little bit more. And I, of course, want to do stuff with zombies. I, of course, want to do stuff with the campaign. I want to do videos of all different aspects of Black Ops 3, but my favorite thing to do, I think, would be different kinds of guides and strategy videos. I think those would be the most fun for me to make personally, so I'm definitely looking forward to making videos along those lines. Now, the second part of the question here is, with Black Ops 3 releasing, am I not going to be able to post videos because I'm actually going to have to be playing the game? Well, that's the reason why YouTubers pay an absurd amount of money to get the game early, right? That's why YouTubers get the game early, is because we need to be able to play the game against people early and be able to make videos of the game early, so come release night, we can have all those videos already ready to go so we can continue actually playing the game when it actually makes its full release and everybody has access to it, right? So that's why a lot of Call of Duty YouTubers, they pay a lot of money to be able to get the game early from really shady areas. You know, you find it on Craigslist, you find it on eBay, you find it somewhere, right? As long as you get the game early, it's all that matters. And we play the game early, we get as many videos as we can made for the game, and then we, of course, make those videos go live when the game actually makes its full release. So yeah, that's why there's never really a delay. You would think that YouTubers like me, we would, be playing the game so much that we wouldn't have time to make videos of it, but that's not the case because we, of course, get the game early. And my favorite ice cream flavor, so straight up generic ice cream flavor, I would say chocolate. Like if I had to choose between chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, stuff like that, I'd say that. In terms of actual ice cream flavors, I would say that a lot of the Ben & Jerry's stuff is really, really good. You look at some like Cherry Garcia is very good. Half-Baked is fantastic. That's probably my favorite of all of them just because it's got like cookie dough in it. Basically, any of the Ben & Jerry's ice cream, I'm yet to actually try one that was disappointing. Sure, I like some more than the others, but for the most part, they're all just really, really good, but they're also super expensive. Next question, he is going to write, Dear Nero, since Black Ops 3 has limited features on last gen and Advanced Warfare has had the same too with the weapon DLC and such, do you think that the next Infinity War game will only be available for PlayStation 4, PC, and Xbox One? Ghost619 from California. Well, Mr. Ghost, I would say that this is going to be the last Call of Duty to be made for the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. I'll go out there on a limb and I'll say that because they have stripped back so many features. I know there's another question that's going to be coming up in this week's Dear Nero later on revolving around that, but they've stripped away so many features for Black Ops 3. And you look at just Advanced Warfare, like you're not allowed to get certain weapons, you're not allowed to get all these variants and all that stuff. They can't fit it all in the game, you just can't have it. They keep taking stuff away from the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 users to the point where I can't envision a world where the next Infinity War game, which is going to be coming out next November, like not this coming November, but the November after that, I can't picture a world where that game, with how advanced it's going to be in terms of its tech, I can't picture them trying to scale that back and make it work for the 360 and the PlayStation 3. I do feel like Black Ops 3 is going to be the final Call of Duty game to be made for the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, which is kind of a shame. It's kind of a shame shame, right? Because it's definitely the end of an era, but at the same time, it's about time we move on from that and then really start making these games go as far as they can go. So I definitely think that the next Infinity War game is going to be exclusive to the PlayStation 4, the PC, the Xbox One, and perhaps with Nintendo's new console, maybe for that as well. But of course, we will have to actually see. Next question, he is going to write, Dear Nero, I recently broke my collarbone and I am out for the rest of the football season. I wanted to know if you have ever broken any bones, and if so, which ones and how. Thanks a lot, Harry from Massachusetts. So Harry, that stinks, man. Fun fact, my dad broke his collarbone, the same one, like his left collarbone. He broke it 3 times in his life, and 2 of them were actually playing football. One was like in an actual football game, like what you're doing here, where you're like actually playing for your school. One was backyard football, and one was from a 4-wheeler. I've never actually broken a bone personally. I've hit my head many times, and I've got like scars. But like if I were to shave my head completely, there'd be a lot of scars. Because as a child, like I would wreck my bike, crack my head open. I would, we would be playing on these rocks at this place that we go to for like a family vacation, and I fell down there in between rocks, cracked my head open there. I cracked my head open wrestling. I cracked my head open just doing so many things, like being out back on my bike and stuff like that. Like I estimate probably half a dozen times I've wrecked or hurt myself somehow to the point where my head started bleeding. But in terms of like bones, other bones, I suppose, I've never actually broken anything. Never broken my wrist, never twisted an ankle, never broken a leg. And I was a very active person growing up. I played Little League Baseball, and I did wrestling as I was younger, and I did basketball, and I did football, and I played all these sports. I ran track, I high jumped, I did the dash, although not often are you going to have people doing 100-meter dash. They're going to be breaking bones. But I did a lot of sports growing up. I was a very active person, but I've never actually broken a bone. I also skateboarded a lot and did BMX bikes for a while, and of course I've been riding ATVs throughout the majority of my life, and I've never even broken a bone. But I never really get hurt. That's the thing. Like I rarely actually get hurt. I never really found myself ever in the situation where it would be possible for me to break a bone, I suppose. But I guess I was lucky when I played football and to an lesser extent basketball and stuff like that, that I never actually got hurt, because I did play running back for a couple years in football, and then I played receiver and I played safety, and I was always on defense. But I just, I had a lot of contact, but I never actually broke a bone. Although I felt like I came close, I felt like a couple of times where I would get really bad stingers, but never actually broke anything. Next question, he is going to write, Dear Nero, during the Black Ops 3 campaign trailer, there was a part where a World War II German tank burst in through a wall. I don't know if you saw or noticed it, but there was also woods, and it was snowing in the background. I remember seeing those Snapchats where they were talking about the woods and that it was snowing. Also, I am learning about the Battle of the Bulge that happened in some type of frozen forest. The Germans use tanks as well. I would love to hear what you think. Love, Andrew. So, Andrew, you are one of many conspiracy theorists out there who are trying to somehow salvage the idea of World War II being featured in Black Ops 3. Is it possible? It's entirely possible. It is completely possible, right, for there to be World War II throwback missions in the Black Ops 3 campaign. That's entirely possible. Do I think it's likely? Probably not. I feel as though a lot of the stuff that they showed us, because if you actually watch the campaign trailer, there's like very split scenes and stuff like that. You see a bunch of snow, you see the forest, you see the raven, right? You see not the raven, but the crows. You see those birds that we saw during these Snapchat teasers as well. You see all of these things, and I have a feeling that stuff is going to reflect back to Dr. Salem. We do know that he is going to, in fact, be in the game. We have seen some of that stuff already, so I think it's going to be featured. I think that we're primarily going to be seeing that kind of stuff when we're going to be dealing with Dr. Salem in the campaign. Now, will those be throwback missions that going back to when he was doing those testings? It's entirely possible. Are those just things that we're going to see, like some of the people that are being experimented on? Are those just going to be flashbacks for that particular person? Is there going to be like an old World War II soldier that is dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, and that person, they go into his mind kind of, and they see some of his flashbacks as part of the story? That's possible as well. But do I think that the game itself is going to be set in World War II? No, I do think that a lot of it's going to be flashback related, if at all we see anything regarding World War II. But I did see the tank, I did see the snow, I did see the forest, I did see the birds. But that's the thing, man. It's the campaign, and it's so hard to speculate as to what the campaign is going to entail. We already know from the beta, or at least we saw for the most part, that there's not really going to be any World War II related stuff in the multiplayer. So there might be some stuff in the campaign similar to what we saw in the original Black Ops, where they go back to like the World War II mission. But other than that, I can't envision too much World War II stuff actually being featured in the Call of Duty Black Ops 3 single player. Next question, he is going to write, Dear Nero, I am a big fan of yours and I have loved all your videos. My question is, what is your favorite Major League Baseball team? Mine is the Angels with Boston as a close second. Thank you, Marcus from Bountiful, Utah. So you're from Utah, you like the Angels, but you also like Boston. You're kind of like me. Like, a lot of people like their hometown team, right? I'm from Pennsylvania, so you would assume that I like the Pirates and I like the Steelers and I like, I don't know, the Cavaliers because Pittsburgh doesn't have a basketball team. That's never really been the case for me. I've always kind of liked teams that were like all far and beyond. Now, I'm not a big baseball fan. I used to be a pretty big Major League Baseball fan. When I was a baseball fan, I was a Toronto Blue Jays fan. I like the Blue Jays quite a bit. And like you, I kind of like the Boston Red Sox. I kind of like the New York Yankees and stuff like that. And there were just players throughout the league that I thought were cool, or there was like stadiums or fields that people would play and I thought were really cool. But for the most part, I was a Toronto Blue Jays fan. But that was a long time ago. I've really kind of gotten out of baseball. I just got kind of burnt out on it because I was so into it for such a long time that I kind of really just stopped paying attention to it. And to kind of give you context as to the last time I was really kind of into Major League Baseball, Roy Halladay was still playing for the Blue Jays. A.J. Burnett was the second pitcher. I remember Dustin McGowan was a pitcher. They had Vernon Wells. They had Frank Thomas there for a little bit. I remember that. Marco Scudero, who has been on like every team in the history of Major League Baseball, was playing for them around that time as well. And just those were some of the players that I remember that were for the Blue Jays back when I actually paid attention to baseball. But it's been a while since I paid attention to baseball. Primarily the only sport I pay attention to these days is football. Of course, I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, which is disappointing because Cleveland Browns. But yeah, I used to pay attention to baseball, but just not so much as of the past couple of years. Next question. He is going to write, Dear Nero. This is a long one and kind of a serious one. He writes, Dear Nero, today I had my first ever cigarette. I'm 14, almost 15, and I have been very cautious about cigarettes and tobacco for a long time. I took a cigarette and a lighter and I went into the forest, sat down, and took out the cigarette. I noticed that my heart was beating faster and I was shaking, but I said fuck it and I lit the cigarette and breathed in. After one smoke, I said, this isn't even tasty or cool. I stubbed it out and left, but now I feel very weird. I feel like I want another one, but I really don't want one at the same time. My question is, how did you feel when you had your first cigarette? And P.S., I'm not going to become a chain smoker, but I may have one at special occasions, and this person did not leave his or her name. So you're 14 years old, you've just had your first cigarette. I was about the same age, roughly, that I had my first cigarette as well. My experience with smoking is I didn't understand how you smoked. And I think a lot of people don't understand how to smoke when they first try a cigarette for the first time. I thought you just, you sucked on the cigarette, you put the smoke in your mouth and you blew it out, bam, you're smoking, easy. But how you smoke is you basically put smoke in your mouth and you inhale again. That way you actually put the smoke down there into your lungs. And the first couple times you do that, you're going to start coughing like crazy. So I wonder, Mr. Anonymous person here who did not actually leave his or her name, I wonder if you even smoked correctly, because most people, when they first ever try a cigarette, it hits them hard. They start coughing real hard. They get dizzy. They get lightheaded as all the nicotine hits them and whatnot. But if you're like me when you first started, you didn't realize that's how you do it. You immediately put it out and you left the woods and you decided you don't want to smoke again, but you kind of feel like you want one at the same time. I feel as though that's probably a psychological thing. You don't become addicted to cigarettes really after like the first smoke. You don't become addicted to tobacco or nicotine after the first time that you have it. Generally, it's going to make you feel kind of ill the first time that you have any kind of nicotine. My advice to you is just stop completely right now. Just stop right now. Don't think that you're going to start smoking on special occasions because you went out and had a puff of a cigarette in the woods out behind your house or something like that. Just don't even get involved with it. Just do not get involved in it. Those guys that are longtime fans of my channel, you know that I was a cigarette smoker for how many years was it? Maybe 5 years or so. Roughly from the time I was about 15 up until I was about 20-ish, somewhere in that range. And I've been off cigarettes and off nicotine for a couple of years now. And I definitely would not recommend anybody starting it because it's very, very hard to quit. You start to feel terrible. People don't like being around you because you smell like it, unless you're around other smokers, which generally, and this is me throwing this out there, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but generally people, especially when you're in like early high school and stuff, the people that do smoke, those aren't kind of the people that you want to be hanging around with. Those are generally the underperformers, the underachievers, people that aren't going out for the sports team or anything like that. They're generally just, those smokers, and I don't mean to generalize, but that's what was like in my high school. Not everybody, of course, is going to fall under that category, but generally you don't want to be hanging out with people that smoke, especially while it's in high school. It's not a good habit. You talk to anybody that's over the age of 18 that still smokes, those people don't tell you it's fun. If you ask somebody who smokes, like, hey, do you like smoking? They're going to say, no, it's not fun. It's something that you become physically addicted to. It's honestly a terrible feeling. You're addicted to something that makes you feel terrible, and you feel even worse if you don't have this thing that makes you feel terrible. You get winded very easily. It's a horrible, horrible thing. Do not ever start smoking. If you have the ability to never start, don't start. If you already have started smoking, start taking steps, even baby steps, to getting yourself off of it, because nicotine is an evil thing. I know firsthand how evil nicotine is. I'm happy to be rid of it, and I would like to take this platform that I have to get on my soapbox and say, don't ever start. Don't ever start using nicotine. Don't ever start smoking. Don't ever start chewing. Don't ever start doing anything like that. I'm pretty sure smoking and chewing covers just about all of it, unless you're gonna be one of the weird people that like starts chewing nicotine gum for no reason. Like, oh man, I never even smoked, never even chewed, but I just love this nicotine gum. Like, that would just be silly. But yeah, my advice to you, man, just never start. You said you had your first one, you kind of crushed it, and you kind of feel like you want to have another one. I feel as though that's a psychological thing. It's probably just in your head because you know that cigarettes are an addictive thing. They are a habit forming thing, but you just going out there and having a puff in the woods, you're not going to become addicted to it. Just don't ever do it again, and you'll be okay. And to you, dear listener who is listening to this video, don't ever start, and if you have started already, please take measures to getting yourself off of it, because you know it's for the best, I know it's for the best, everybody knows it's for the best. Just please work at it. Next question, he is going to write, Dear Nero, if you could turn one game's story into a movie or a TV show, which game would it be? Thank you, and have a wonderful day. Jacob from the Great White North. So Jacob, I thought a little bit about this. I think I may have answered a question similar to this before, but the answer I gave a while back, I think, was Call of Duty. Like, a Call of Duty movie would be a pretty good one. You take something like the World at War campaign, and basically you're going to get a nice summer popcorn blockbuster thing where you're going to have a nice World War II movie, and it's going to be pretty good. It's going to be cinematic, similar to all the Call of Duty campaigns. That'd be fun, I think. I think that would be pretty fun. So in terms of a movie, I think it would be pretty cool if we were able to get a Call of Duty movie, because I think it would work very well in that movie format. In terms of a television show, I think it would be cool if we were to get a Borderlands television show. And I don't even know necessarily how they would do something along those lines, but I think it would be pretty cool, because the idea I have, like the idea of a Borderlands movie, I don't think it would work out very well. I think it would end up like a lot of other, picture TV shows that have a movie, like the Simpsons movie. It's never fulfilling watching a movie that's based off a TV show, or generally watching a movie that's based off a video game either. It's never very fulfilling. Sure, it may be interesting to watch it for the first time, but generally it's just not going to be as enjoyable the second time or the third time. It's just going to be something that you're like, yeah, that was okay, but it was definitely not as good as a TV show, similar to when they make a movie that's based off of books most of the time. So I think if you take the Borderlands world, that universe, and you turn it into a television show, make it animated, I think it'd be better if it were actually animated rather than having it be live action, because I think it'd be off-putting if it were live action, to be honest. But if they were to animate it, they could do really whatever they wanted to do with it, and they could just basically tell a lot of cool stories within that world, because I like the story of Borderlands. I like the world that Borderlands is and all the characters that are in that world. And I would like to see more of it. I definitely think that'd be pretty cool. So that's my own personal taste. Let me know in the comments what video game story would you like to see turned into a movie, and what video game story would you like to see turned into a TV show? Let us know about that down there in the comment section below. Next question, he is going to write, Dear Nero, I run a small sports channel on YouTube that requires me to download clips from YouTube, but I'm not very happy with the quality that I put out. I wanted to know what program you use to download videos off of YouTube, like Call of Duty trailers and such, and what do you recommend? Michael from the Music City. So Michael, I don't have like a set program. There's two different programs I use, and both are terrible. Just like you mentioned, the quality is horrible. I hate the quality. It does not look very good, and I'm considering doing different things to be able to make it so the next series we do once Black Ops 3 comes out, where fans submit gameplay, maybe doing something different where they have to upload it to like Dropbox or something like that, so I get like the full resolution video. Because what I generally do now, it's the same thing you probably do. I just go to keepvid.com. You can just type in the YouTube URL there. You can download it. The most you can generally download it 720p. If the video is in 1080p, you can sometimes download it, but it's always in 30 FPS. The bitrate on it is very terrible. It's very pixely. There's a lot of ghosting in the video. Even if you disable resample, it seems like there's a lot of ghosting. And worse comes to worse, like if the person that's like submitting gameplay to me, it already has pretty poor quality, like it's just even worse. Like if it's already poor quality and you have to download it in even worse quality, and it's like, oh my goodness. Like you just look at the video quality on DNA Saturday and the any episode of DNA Saturday, any episode, versus any video that I've made that's with my own gameplay. It's like it's night and day different. I wish there was a way better way to download videos. I wish there was like a full, like almost like a source resolution downloader or something like that, but unfortunately there isn't. I think it'd be very nice if YouTube itself were to implement a download button on every single video. Just do it. I don't care. Like, there's already competing websites out there that allow people to do it. Why not just do it, make it native to your website, YouTube? I think that'd be a lot better. And then that way, like, let's say I upload a 1080p 60 video. If somebody wanted to download that video for whatever reason, maybe download it and, you know, keep it on their computer to watch at a later date or something, I don't know, they could just hit download and download it in 1080p, download it at 60 frames per second, and have it be just about as good as the quality of the video that I initially uploaded to YouTube. I think that would be awesome, but right now I just use like keepvid.com, or if that's not working for whatever reason, because it always like bugs out with Java for whatever reason, I generally just go to Google, I type in download YouTube videos, I click the first link that's there, and it's, again, just pretty terrible quality, but it's pretty similar quality to KeepVid. But yeah, if anyone knows a better way to download videos off of YouTube, I would love to hear it. I have looked far and wide, but I'm yet to actually find anything that is what I consider to be acceptable. Next and final question, he is going to write, Dear Nero, what is the name of your cat? From Albert. Well, Albert, what's the name of my cat? So unfortunately, I don't have a cat anymore because the place I'm renting now, I'm not allowed to have pets. It's, you know, part of it. The landlord's like, yeah, maybe a cat. He doesn't want to have dogs here. Because of hardwood floors. So basically, I had to give my cat to my mom, which is disappointing. But the cat likes my mom and likes the other cats that she has, so it's okay. My cat's name was Stormy. She was a rescue. She's gray and she's white for the most part, just gray and white. She has this little spot over her eye. She's adorable. The reason why we called her Stormy was because she ran around the house like a thunderstorm. Like anytime she came into the room, like she was just constantly, like she would like. You ever see a cat that gets on like catnip or something like that? Like she was like that all the time when she was a kitten. Like she would just run around like crazy all the time, and just she was adorable. We named her Stormy. And the other cats, the cats that my mom has, let's see, there's Old Man, which is a horrible name for a cat because Old Man's actually a girl, right? The reason Old Man is named Old Man, she is a brown tiger cat, is because when she was a kitten, she had hair, like a lot of fur coming from her ears, and she looked like an old man, so we named her Old Man. Even before we checked if she was actually a boy or a girl, we named her Old Man, so that's a terrible name. What other cats are there? There's Callie, who's a calico cat. There is Mr. Bill, who is a giant tiger cat. Like, this cat is giant. He's a 20-pound cat, which you think, okay, he's a fat cat, but not only is he like a fat cat, he's just like a very big cat. He is abnormally large. Like, his head is huge. His like frame is huge. His paws are huge. Like, he's just an abnormally large cat. His name is Mr. Bill. I don't know why. That was actually my mom's boyfriend's cat, so I don't know why he's named Mr. Bill. But that's that. Some of the other pets I've actually had throughout my lifetime. We had Ben, who was a Rottweiler. He died, sadly. We had Buford, who was a Great Pyrenees, giant, beautiful dogs, big white dogs, gorgeous. Who he also died. These are, you know, dogs and cats and stuff like that from my childhood. We had Tigger, who was a white and tiger cat. We had, God, there were so many cats, so many different animals I've had throughout the entirety of my lifetime. We had the sleepers. They're telling you about the sleepers. So there's the red sleeper and there's the green sleeper, and there's a story behind this. So we had a cat way back when, whose name was Fluffy, who was just an adorable cat. It was a Siamese cat, and she ended up giving birth to kittens. And she had like 7 cats, none of which looked like her, none of which ended up being Siamese. They were all either tiger cats or gray cats. But there were 2 of these kittens we called the red and green sleeper, because they were 2 gray cats that were always together, and they were just always sleeping. Like, they'd always be off in the corner sleeping on top of each other like kittens do, you know, curling up and being kittens and being adorable. They were always together. Well, we ended up giving them away because we had 7 cats, and we gave away most of them. The only one we initially kept was Old Man, because that was like the favorite of the litter, I suppose. And we gave away those 2 cats, and it turns out the person we gave them away to, like, abused them, like, oh, horrible stuff. Like, not, like, you know, beat them or anything like that, but would just mess with them. Like, would, like, tie them up with, like Christmas lights and then, like, plug it in just so they'd walk around with, like, Christmas lights and be lit up and stuff like that. It's little things like that, and as soon as we found out about it, we immediately took the cats back, and so they lived with us. But they looked the same. Like, they were basically twins. They looked very, very similar, and when we got them back, it was around the time of Christmas. So we took, like, Christmas wrap. And so, not Christmas wrap. What would it be? What would you consider it? Like a bow for Christmas that you put on like a Christmas present that you would like wrap a present with. Basically, we made colors out of it. And one was red, one was green because they were Christmas colors. And the cat that we got the red color for was we call it Red Sleeper because it was one of the sleepers. And then the other one was Green Sleeper because these cats always slept and they always slept together. They were both female, but yeah, that is kind of the story of those, I suppose. So I've had a lot of pets throughout my life. Right now, I don't, because when I moved, I had to basically give up Stormy, which is disappointing. And of course, there's Sandy, the dog. That's my mom's dog. That's not even my dog. She is a yellow lab, and she is adorable. Very, very fun. But yeah, I'm a big animal person. I've always liked animals. I've always liked pets. I did own a rat at one point. I think I told a story about that. His name was Jason, and had to get rid of him because he was kind of wily and would always get out of his cage and like run around my room, and it was not a very fun thing. So, yeah, I've owned a lot of pets in my lifetime. Definitely owned a lot of pets, and those were just some of them to name a few. And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to conclude this particular episode of Dear Nero. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and if you did, remember to leave a rating where you guys feel the video deserves. This, of course, was episode 163 of Dear Nero. This is going to basically compensate for not having Dear Nero last week, so I was in the process of moving. And the next episode, episode 164, will be going up later on this evening. So stay tuned for that. Some Star Wars Battlefront gameplay will be there. And if you guys can't wait for Star Wars Battlefront, feel free to check it out on my Let's Play channel. It is youtube.com/Nero's Let's Plays. Go over there and check that out if you guys would like to. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Remember to leave a rating, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.